With the transfer window coming to an end, let's look at 10 footballers I believe should leave their clubs this summer. It was all lined up for Toney to take a major step forward this summer. With just 1 year remaining on his contract, Toney has made it known to Brentford and manager Thomas Frank that he is eager to depart. As a result, the club would rather receive a cash payment for him now rather than risk losing him for free in 2025. Over the previous few seasons, he has also shown that he's a very talented striker in the Premier League. Despite playing just 42 minutes for England at Euro 2024, he only helped to further his reputation. There are undoubtedly a few respectable-sized teams that might benefit from additional support at number 9, if not a new addition altogether. The English player is a versatile centre-forward. Despite being banned for the majority of last year, he has won more aerial duels than any other striker since Brentford's promotion. He has averaged 0.44 goals per 90, nearly a goal every other game, in the Premier League for a mid-table club. He can press as well as be technically proficient. Many Premier League sides would benefit from having Toney, but would anyone be able to afford his services? Given that Gabriel Jesus missed a significant portion of the previous campaign due to injury, Eddie Nketiah deserved to have been given more responsibility for Arsenal as their backup striker. As it happened, Mikel Arteta chose to utilise Kai Havertz, who wasn't actually signed to play there, as his centre striker, limiting the Englishman to just 10 starts. Nketiah was not utilised as a substitute in Arsenal's victory over Wolves on the first day of this current season, and it appears that Arteta no longer needs him. In spite of this, he is still a valuable forward who has displayed promising moments in his few North London appearances. Remember that this player only played little, but as recently as he averaged 0.69 non-penalty anticipated goals per 90 minutes. Only 2 players averaged more than that: Callum Wilson and Erling Haaland. Nketiah is obviously capable of placing himself in advantageous scoring situations within the opponent's penalty area. According to the most recent rumours, he may be joining Nottingham Forest, who are trying to expand their offensive options. Out of his 168 appearances for Arsenal, Nketiah has only started 70 of them. At the age of 25, he is in a critical stage of his career and may want to consider moving to play football for a first team. He is not limited to being a squad member. In 2020, Sergio Reguilón joined Tottenham under Jose Mourinho's management. It would be an understatement to say that a lot has changed at the club since then, and the Spaniard's stay in North London is undoubtedly coming to an end this summer. Early on in the Ange Postecoglou era, it was evident that he was not suited to the Australians' playing style. Last summer, after both of their left-backs suffered injuries, he was quickly shipped out on loan to Manchester United. However, that move didn't work out too well, and he spent the remainder of the season with Brentford in January. Not that he precisely made waves there either, and he returned to Spurs this season with little chance of playing in the first team. But he might still be a good choice for a mid-table Premier League team. There's always a need for another left-back in the Premier League, and Reguilón is a good option for most teams. With just a single year remaining on his Spurs contract, he should be reasonably affordable. Kieran Trippier has reportedly informed Newcastle that he wants to leave after starting the 2024-25 season on the bench. It appears that Trippier is hesitant to give Tino Livramento second choice at right back. The England international thinks like he still has a lot to offer at the Premier League level, despite the fact that he turns 34 next month. He may not be as daring or nimble as he once was, but he's still one of the nation's top ball deliverers. It seems like things have gotten worse for him rather rapidly. After all, he was by all accounts an important player and managed to make 28 Premier League games the previous season, despite missing 2 months due to injury. He did receive criticism during a difficult period around the end of 2023, and some fans have suggested he shouldn't be the number 1 pick any longer. But Trippier isn't finished at this point in terms of sheer technical skill and knowledge. Jadon Sancho is in his 4th season as a Manchester United player, and if he doesn't get traded away from Old Trafford, it will take something extraordinary for this season to not be another wasted one. Sancho's tenure at United has, however, been utterly disappointing. After spending years trying to sign him, the team was finally able to bring his exciting arrival to the fans at Borussia Dortmund, where he had grown into one of the most promising young players in Europe. But he only has 18 goal involvements in 83 games for United, compared to 107 goal involvements in 137 games for Dortmund. The memories of the skill he displayed in Germany have been far too fleeting. Sancho was loaned back to Dortmund after a public disagreement with Erik ten Hag the previous season, but the two seemed to put the past behind them during pre-season. Sancho was permitted to resume training with the first squad, and he participated in all of United's friendlies. In the Community Shield, he too had a fleeting appearance, but was unable to convert his penalty in the shootout. After being left off for the victory over Fulham last weekend, Ten Hag has now challenged Sancho to push his way into the running for a starting position. With Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, Amad Diallo, and possibly even Antony ahead of him in the standings, that means that a different team must pay Sancho what he expects and fulfill United's stated wish to get $40 million for him. If the money weren't so bad, it's likely safe to assume that Sancho would have left by now. Sancho has the potential to be a superstar in the right situation at the right team. We've seen it happen before. Ben Chilwell joined Chelsea from Leicester City in 2020. In 106 games, he has contributed 11 assists and 9 goals to the Blues' record. At the Foxes, the left-back showed promise as a player. He made a name for himself at Chelsea right away. He played regularly for Chelsea under Frank Lampard and later under Thomas Tuchel, helping the latter team win the UEFA Champions League. He also had a strong start to the following season before he tore his cruciate ligament. Since then, Chilwell has struggled to maintain a spot in the team under a number of managers due to a number of injury issues. It appears that Enzo Maresca has put him on the list of players to sell. There have been connections to Manchester United, and considering how challenging it may be to resolve, you would assume that several teams would be considering Chilwell's circumstances over the coming days. 2 years can bring quite a lot of change, as Chelsea supporters would confirm. Raheem Sterling was poised to steer the new Chelsea into yet another successful period when he signed a $50 million contract in the summer of 2022. Sterling's departure from Stamford Bridge appears to be a matter of when rather than if, since the club has determined he is no longer wanted after 81 games, 19 goals and 12 assists for the Blues. Since Sterling doesn't fit into Enzo Maresca's plans, the winger wasn't included in Chelsea's squad for their opening weekend loss to Manchester City. As a result, the players' representation said in a statement prior to kickoff that they were looking for further clarity over the player's future with the team. Maresca has brought that clarity, and Sterling will be searching for a new job over the next week. Even though Sterling turns 30 in December, he still has a lot to provide. With a manager that believes in him and a will to show Chelsea wrong, Sterling may be a wise addition to the correct Premier League team. The greatest compliment Aaron Ramsdale could ever receive is that nobody could have predicted that Mikel Arteta would decide he needed an improved goalie when Arsenal signed David Raya. Although the decision has subsequently been validated, Ramsdale will want to resume playing on a regular basis since he is simply too talented to be a backup goalkeeper, especially for a club that might win the championship this year. He is a perfectly competent goalkeeper. Although Raya is superior, he still possesses excellent footwork skills and can make great passes over extended distances. Having competed for the title with Arsenal, he has experience playing in the Premier League at both ends. In a range of playing styles, he would undoubtedly be able to adapt to any team in the league. Joe Gomez could use more playing time, especially if he wants to play centre defence. That may seem crazy coming from someone who appeared in 51 games the previous season. Gomez was the only player for Liverpool to play more games than Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo and Harvey Elliott. However, the England defender started just 31 of those games, and only 17 of those were in the Premier League. In all competitions, Gomez played 3,135 minutes, 84% of which were at full-back and 5% of which were in midfield, as Jurgen Klopp tried to use the player to put out fires when injuries struck his team. Currently in his 10th season at Anfield, Gomez has played a significant role in Liverpool's success during his tenure there. Most notably, he was a frequent starter in the defence, alongside Virgil van Dijk when the team won the Premier League in 2019. That season, Gomez made 28 appearances in the league, recording 12 clean sheets and only 16 goals against. He fell down Klopp's priority list due to injuries and the arrival of Ibrahima Konate in 2021. In subsequent years, he has been utilised as a utility player in the back four. Gomez was left out of Arne Slot's opening Premier League game last week against Ipswich Town. Rumours have said that this was because to a possible transfer. That conversation appears to have cooled off recently, and Slot stated at a news conference on Friday that the real reason he wasn't at Portman Road was because of the amount of training he had to do after the Euros. It wouldn't be shocking, though, if the 27-year-old moved before the cut-off. What player did I miss out?